Hey guys, it's Jayla. Welcome back. I'm here today to do my update for my Tiny Pans Pan That Palette for the month. Like, what am I doing here? And this is a Pantastic Ladies collab project. Pan That Palette was originally created by Amber F, but the theme for Pan That Palette was chosen via the Pantastic Ladies collab Facebook group, and the person who originally came up with the idea for Tiny Pans was Sarah Tate, and I will leave her information down in the description box as well as everything else for this project. So for this project, I picked the Lorac Pro 3 to pan for this year, and I chose it because it had small pans and it also has a small amount of shadow. So each pan in the Lorac Pro 3 is 0.02 ounces. So out of all the palettes that I think I had that were, larger than like 5-pan palettes, this had the least amount of shadow per pan, which is what I was looking for. So the other thing that I do in this video is I also update you on my Baby Pans palette as well as my Modern Renaissance palette, which is what I panned last year. But there's still a couple of shadows in here that I'm trying to work out before I call this one done, because I didn't meet my goal for last year's Pan That palette. So I will update you guys on that one after we do the Lorac Pro 3. There's cats chasing. And there's also a thunderstorm going on outside, so hopefully I don't lose power. And you may hear like lightning and thunder and stuff. I really do like summer thunderstorms. They're kind of fun. Okay, so let me share with you what my palette looked like last month. And here is how my palette is looking like now. Look at it. Look at it. All right, let me clean this guy up because it's looking kind of gunky. So for those of you that don't know, I grab a makeup wipe. This is one that I use to wipe some lipstick off on. And I wrap it around, I wrap a makeup wipe around the base of like a powder. Right now I'm using my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Face Base. Something that's got a somewhat of a flat surface. And I'm just wrapping my wipe around it, and then we're going to wipe it across the palette itself. So we're just doing this, and it does a great job cleaning the palette, as you can see, so it's not so grimy. Okay, yeah, see, eek. Okay, so I need to look at what my palette looked like last month. Okay, so after repressing this palette, which I probably showed you that picture, hopefully, I still had shadow in several pans. So I still had Cool Taupe, which as you can see, I finished Cool Taupe. I was still working on, shadow names have all disappeared on this. Terracotta, and as you can see, that one's gone. I still had shadow in Dark Bronze, and as you can see, that one's done there. If I do that, that's better. These are the pans that I finished, obviously. I still had shadow in Medallion here, as well as Light Pewter. So those were all the, and I still had a teeny tiny amount left in Amethyst, and I finished that too. It took me like no time. So I finished, since the last update, I finished off 6 shadows. So as of right now, I only have 3 shadows that I'm still working on. I'm not working on those blacks. I'm not working on these here, these two. That's not something that I'm going to continue to work on. So as you can see, I just have those 3 pans left. And I really throughout the year have been really using light gold only in my inner corner. So I will definitely change that and start incorporating that into like my lid looks. And these two, Almond Pearl and Rose Gold, those are, shoot. These two, as you can see, like those are really close to being done. I'm not going to repress Rose Gold or anything like that, but those are really close to being done. I will definitely have those done by the next update for sure. Now, Almond Pearl, or I'm sorry, Light Gold, I will probably repress this because it is starting to get a little bit challenging to get my brush in there. Not necessarily for the inner corner, but if I want to use this all over the lid, it's going to be difficult to get my brush in there. So I'm probably going to go ahead and repress that. I'm hoping I can have it done by the next update. We'll see. But for the most part, I mean, I should have at least, you know, 2 out of the 3 shadows done. I'm hoping I can have this done by the next update. That would be amazing. We'll see. We'll see if I can get that light gold shade finished. But anyway, that is my update for the Lorac Pro 3. Super excited about this guy, which, because I'm so close to finishing this, I am going to start a new project. I'm going to start a new project where I pick 4 palettes for the month and I play around with my palettes. And I will do that live with you guys. And I'm going to also kind of include that with like a 365 days of eyeshadows type project where I work on those 4 palettes and then we'll see how many shadows I can use in the month. So that's kind of the goal. Anyway, that video will also be coming soon. I don't know if I'm going to post it at the beginning of the month every month moving forward, because I typically have a lot of things that go on at the beginning of the month, but we'll see. So that's the Lorac Pro 3. Now let me show you guys how I'm doing with my baby pan, that palette. So for that, I have been working on this MAC Extra Dimension Eyeshadow Duo. And so it's this palette here, and here are the shadows. I'll throw up here what this palette looked like previously. The shadows here are Just Gleaming and Snow Dusk. So these are the 2 shadows here. I have been incorporating this brown shade a bit more in looks. So I feel like I'm kind of close to hitting pan on that. And I'm pretty confident, expanded the pan just a tad bit on Just Gleaming. So, you know, I use this every once in a while. It's not a focus palette for me. It's just, you know, use it whenever I can incorporate this in looks. I think whenever I finish Light Gold and the Lorac Pro 3, I'll probably start using Just Gleaming as my go-to inner corner shade because it's a great inner quarter color. So as you can see, it's just a really nice brightening shade for the inner corner. And then here is the shade Snow Dusk, right? That's what it is? Snow Dusk. So there's Snow Dusk. So Snow Dusk is a little bit of a cool toned shadow. So it doesn't work for looks like what I have going on today, which is a much more warm toned look. But if I do cool toned brown looks, it works well for those. Okay, so that is the baby pan that palette. If I can speak. And then for my Modern Renaissance palette, again, this was my palette that I worked on last year for the Panning Solitaire project. I don't plan on finishing all the shadows in here. So this is what this one is looking like. And my goal for this palette going back to last year was really to finish Tempera, Vermeer, like everything else on this top row, as you can see. And then my quad for Panning Solitaire was Red Ochre and over. Actually, I'm sorry, Venetian. No, this is Primavera and over to this shadow here, which is Warm Taupe. I've changed my mind about a couple of the shadows here. So I'm not planning on finishing off these 2 just because they're not really shadows that I use on a regular basis and feel like I need to pan. Like I don't need to pan those. But I do want to finish Love Letter. And since the last update, I have hit side pan in that. And that's really more of a recent occurrence. I am wearing Love Letter today in my crease. And I actually do have Venetian red on my eyes too. I have it in the very outer corner today. I'm planning on pairing this palette with one of my palettes in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, the Natasha Denona Peak palette. So I'm working on Amhara, which is this shade here, and this one right here. And so I figured this Modern Renaissance actually works really well with that shade. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on some of the shadows in here in combination with the Amhara shade to try to eventually hit pan in Amhara. So like today I used Golden Ochre and I used Burnt Orange. And like I mentioned, I used Love Letter and Venetian Red. So I think that's kind of what I'll plan on doing moving forward with this palette. But once I finish Golden Ochre and Love Letter, I will be good to call this palette done. And I may keep it around if I'm still working on Amhara to use Burnt Orange, but I don't feel like I'm going to need to. Like Primavera, I was originally going to try to finish, but that pan looks really rusted, and I don't trust using that on my eyes. So we're not doing that. So anyway, that's how this palette is looking. So that is my update for my Tiny Pans project, as well as like these other two baby pans and the Modern Renaissance update. I cannot wait to have my Tiny Pans done. Now, once I post like a finale for that, once that palette is finished and I post a finale, I will roll in like updates for these two into like the 365 days of eyeshadows or whatever I end up calling that project, which is probably going to be 365 days of eyeshadows. But I'll roll updates for these two palettes into that project because I don't want to post a separate video just for these two. So that'll be the plan moving forward. So anyway, that is my update for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you are doing well and staying cool. Please hit that subscribe button and I'll see y'all next time. Bye. He's gonna ruin the pillows. I know he is. I was editing a video the other day and I realized during the video that he totally messed up the pillows and I had no idea. You're so funny. Tarte Frose. It's raining. You guys hear that thunder? Ooh. Bye.